All right, Mac, you are tuned in to Traders Nation. Thanks for staying with us. Kind of giddy today. Hey, my pleasure to have back with us once again Sean Brodrick, natural resource analyst for Money and Markets. Sean, welcome back to Traders Nation. How are you today, Sean?
I'm just fine. Thanks for having me on again.
Good. More than welcome. Always a pleasure, Sean. I tell you what, brilliant. 7 trillion reasons to own gold. Can you just give us one? Because we don't have time for 7 trillion, Sean. We really don't.
Well, no. What that article is about, which was on moneyandmarkets.com, is that I was just writing about how the federal bailout is probably going to get bigger and bigger, and the government will start having to guarantee this and that. And if they guaranteed all the money people have on deposit in banks in the U.S., much like Ireland has done, much like Germany and Greece and like those other countries have done, they'd be backing up about $7 trillion worth of wealth. Now, not all of that would go bank. Not every single bank is going to fail, but the federal balance sheet is just expanding enormously. And the more they expand that, to me, the better gold looks.
All right. Now, where's the Fed as far as where's the Fed as far as unfreezing the credit? Where are they at right now?
Well, they've had a little success. We've seen the LIBOR rate come down a little bit. There has been some commercial paper go through. I think California was able to sell some bonds, but it's still pretty much frozen in the mud. And so I expect that will bring the next round of plans. In fact, a friend of mine was actually counting up how many bailout packages have actually been done. And if you go back over the past months from like a Bear Stearns on through, we'll be down to Plan G. Never mind Plan A or Plan B. We'll be down to Plan G the next time they do something. And again, while it's not inflationary in the short term because of the big recession we're having, all this stuff builds up in the system. So eventually that inflationary dam will burst. And so while I expect gold to go down in the short term, in the longer term it's probably going much higher.
All right, Sean, is there concern, or should we be postured as far as concern on bailouts? And let me even further that. If we have a Democratic Senate and Congress, and if Obama gets in, what can we expect with blank checks? Can we expect blank checks? Can we expect what with this type of setup? Is this a perfect storm for I don't know what, Sean?
Well, I really pity whoever the next president of the United States is, because they are really being handed a whole bunch of problems on a platter that's soaking up the money for whatever they want to do.
Right.
And I think that the money that he'd like to spend on, say, health care or something else will be going toward trying to fix this problem. They are desperately trying to stave off a depression and deflation. Those things are very bad for a country that has a lot of debts like us, because if you have deflation, then those debts get bigger. I think that's probably going to be the main focus of at least his first year. So it's hard to say exactly what he'll spend money on, but I think we shall be writing larger and larger checks, and it will be for the bailout.
So is it important to be liberal in spending or fiscally responsible as far as who the next president is?
I think everyone should be fiscally responsible. That's what I try and do in my own life. Washington has never clued into that. Every single president seems to spend more than the previous one, so why would you expect that to change?
Sean, I've always said we need to privatize government and fire whoever's not doing their job. That's what I say, Sean. Would you agree with that?
Well, no, I wouldn't, because, you know, we had a lot of private companies on Wall Street, and they're part of the problem, too.
All right, well, listen. All right. So here's my next thing, Sean. If you don't like either candidate, write my name in, all right? There's my name on the screen. If you don't like Obama, if you don't like McCain, write in Kurt Shimmers. I'll straighten this whole mess out, Sean.
Okay, that sounds like a good vote for me. Yes,
Sean, I'll even bring you on the cabinet. All right,
great.
You're a smart guy, and we can find you over at moneyandmarkets.com, right?
Yes, you can.
Moneyandmarkets.com. Sean Brodrick, natural source and resource analyst. Moneyandmarkets.com. Head on over there today. Thanks, Sean.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
You betcha. All right, we'll be right back.